What's up, guys? Welcome back. I know it's been a while. I took a break of making content because of exams. I was very busy, I was very stressed, and it felt too overwhelming to try to do everything at once. So I decided to take a week of training, and originally I was going to take 2 weeks off making content. Thing is, in that week that I have of training, I had time to reflect, and I realized that in this community, we tend to recycle a lot of the talking points over and over and over. I mean, how many times in this year have we heard about HIT, about power building, about the best muscle growth split, about the best exercise for each muscle group, right? It's getting super boring, it's getting super stale.
Wait, don't be fooled. She's just a regular Malibu Stacy with a stupid cheap hat. She still embodies all the awful stereotypes she did before.
But she's got a new hat.
I used to watch a lot of fitness content, and now, except the occasional NH video, I tend to skip most of them. Even Alex's videos, which I used to really dig. So I believe that as a content creator, I should take a measure, if you want to call me a content creator. And what I'm going to do is just upload whenever I feel I have something worthwhile to say, a new perspective. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep my mouth shut because you have probably heard the same exact thing from 20 different influencers, so there's no point in talking about that. So, little ramble aside, we can begin with today's topic, which is something fundamental to my training principle, which is going to be how to get the most out of your body weight. Now, this is going to be specifically for the pull-up. And something I want to clarify is that I'm not against weighted pull-ups. I believe that weighted pull-ups are very effective. They have built the best natty bags you have ever seen, and I highly recommend you doing them. But it is a fact that they are not necessary, and that bodyweight pull-ups are just as effective. I believe that the difference between bodyweight and weighted pull-ups is just preference, because it simplifies the process and it allows you to regulate the rep ranges way better. Also, some people like the feeling of strapping on weight and doing pull-ups like that. They find it way more fun. Some others, like myself, prefer to just do it body weight only. So I believe personally that they are the same. Now, I'm going to give you a couple strategies I use to make pull-ups, bodyweight pull-ups, as hard as humanly possible and to get the most out of them. Before that, though, I want to clarify that bodyweight pull-ups are hard enough for most people, due to the fact that, first of all, the hypertrophy rep range is 4 to 35. I mean, I believe it's a little bit higher, 50 reps, perhaps even 100. I believe that as long as you accumulate effective reps, you go close to failure, you're going to grow just fine. It's going to be 1-to-1 in terms of stimulus. The only downside is that higher reps accumulate more fatigue. That's the only difference. But outside of that, it's a 1-to-1 thing. And on top of that, that fatigue resilience is something you can build up to. If you do a lot of high reps, your body's going to get used to doing a lot of reps. So again, let's just stick to the research, 4 to 35. Let's suppose this is the low wall range in which you can grow. Find me someone that can do 35 pull-ups. You're not going to find that many. So most people can barely do 12. 15, right? So try to find me someone that can do 35. You're not going to find many people. So you can really milk bodyweight pull-ups for a while. But not only that, you can also play around with the grips. You can do wide grip pull-ups, for example, or super wide grip that are going to lower your rep range by a lot. Maybe by changing the angles and the leverages, you can find a pull-up variation that is going to make it way more challenging. Try to target your weak spots with pull-ups, and that's going to allow you to milk them for way longer. So just regular as normal tempo bodyweight pull-ups are hard enough for 99% of you, but if you want to utilize bodyweight pull-ups as a weighted pull-up replacement and you want to make it fit in a certain rep range, then you can use the strategies I'm going to outline today. Let's start with the first one. The first one is going to be to implement rings. Rings have the benefit of preventing overuse and to make it fit to your anthropometry. Due to the freedom of movement of the rings, you have the capacity to rotate. You can also adjust the grip by moving the straps, and this allows you to have a lot of variation and to, again, adjust yourself on each repetition. You can do it pronated, neutral, supinated, everything in between, and you can even rotate mid-rep. So this allows you to milk the same pull-up variation for longer because it is less taxing on the joints. On top of that, I have found there is a force leakage, if you want to call it that, when you do the pull-ups because of the instability of the rings. This is something that you would probably say, hey, ring pull-ups because you can rotate would probably allow you to use your best leverages. Therefore, you'd be stronger. And I think that cancels out with the fact that, again, the rings are very unstable, and even for pull-ups, and you tend to leak a lot of force when you're doing the reps. So that's the first thing, the rings. The second thing is going to be your range of motion. So we all do pull-ups chin over the bar, but have you tried doing them to your clavicle, right? I would basically divide the ranges, the extended ranges of motion, if you want to call it that, to clavicle pull-ups, chest to bar pull-ups, and sternum pull-ups, basically, or Giranda pull-ups, however you want to call them. With those three variations, you can play around a lot. Not a lot of people can actually do a single sternum pull-up. I would recommend using a close grip for the sternum pull-up or sternum chin-up, whatever. But in general, extending the range of motion is going to drop your reps by a lot. It's going to allow you to get even more out of less weight. I can do 20 repetitions of pull-ups with very good technique, but I can barely get over 8 chest to bar pull-ups. Especially if you use a wide grip, your reps again are going to drop to the ground. I would say especially with wide grips or super wide grips, since the leverages are so disadvantageous, you can be getting like 15 wide grip pull-ups, but as soon as you go chest to bar, it drops to like 6. I'm not joking. So with that, you have a very useful tool to, again, manipulate rep ranges. Then something extra you can add is the tempo, which I think is going to be the most important thing because it's going to allow you to maximize the stretch you get from each pull-up repetition. So the first thing you want to do is you want to go full range of motion. You want to go into a dead hang. Don't do like NH does where he like stops right here approximately. He's like engaged and he keeps it like this. The lats do not get disengaged at the bottom. They don't. If you don't believe me, hang from rings you put yourself into a dead hang position with rings, and you're going to realize, no, your lats don't get disengaged. They get stretched a lot. Thing is, you don't get the same feeling, that's true, but they're still engaged and they're still getting stretched. So going to a full range of motion is going to allow you to work in that joint angle. It's going to bulletproof your shoulders, going to decompress the spine, it's going to stretch the lats even further, and it's going to allow you to standardize range of motion. Also, something extra is that whenever you try to keep time under tension, you lose a lot of strength, which eventually leads to less repetitions. Really never made sense for me. I tried doing NH pull-ups, but time has shown me that full range of motion is the way to go. So this is what I'm advising. Go full range of motion into a dead hang. The next thing is going to be, don't dive bomb the eccentric. Slow it down as much as you can, okay? A 3-second eccentric, 4-second, 5-second, I think that's going to be the sweet spot range. That's going to allow you to stop all momentum, to really let the muscles stretch. It's going to be safe on the joints, going to build tissue capacity, and also it's going to drop your reps like crazy. And again, it's going to be way more hypertrophic. If you want to double down on that, you can pause at the bottom. You go full range of motion, you slow down the eccentric, and then you pause at the bottom to eliminate any kind of momentum, okay? Then you explode in the concentric or just do it normally, and you don't pause at the top. You just go up, right, and start going into the eccentric as fast as you can, and then you really slow it down in the eccentric. That, again, is going to basically drop your reps by like, I don't know, 60% approximately. Again, I can do 20 pull-ups, and if I do this technique, keeping the same variation, I just change the way I do it, I drop to 8 reps approximately, or 6 reps, something like that, depending on the day. So this tool is very, very useful, and I think that if you're going to stick to one of them that I have mentioned, is this one. Full range of motion, slow eccentric, pause at the bottom, no pause at the top, and regular concentric. Then that is like the main one. I have 2 extra that I think that they're still very useful, but they're a little bit more niche. The fifth one is going to be using spinal flexion. So doing your L-sit chin-ups, L-sit pull-ups, whatever. That spinal flexion aspect stretches the lats, which allows you to, first of all, it's going to be like an incline curl in the sense that failure is just going to come out of nowhere. Also, you're going to get a very nasty stretch. And the reason to why failure comes out of nowhere is because this variation forces you to keep it strict. If you don't have perfect form on each rep, whenever your form starts to degrade, you will fail. It's going to be noticeable right away. So this is a tool you can use if you want to really focus on the lats without having to do that weird partial pull-up type of thing. Just have spinal flexion. And again, this is going to drop your reps considerably. I don't know if that's properly pronounced. And then the last one, and then the last one is going to be using unilateral variations. So again, your assisted one-arm chin-ups, mantle chin-ups, band-assisted one-arm chin-ups, finger-assisted, whatever. This or archer chin-ups if you want to. I recommend chin-ups because it's way more comfortable on the elbows and on the shoulders, but you can use pronated or neutral or in between. If you're using rings, use whatever variation you find more comfortable. And this one is very tough. It's going to be a perfect replacement for heavy weighted pull-ups. And it's going to, of course, allow you to make up for imbalances because you're doing it one side at a time. But also it's going to have the benefits of an iliac lat pull down because you're doing, again, unilaterally, and you can accommodate yourself to stretch the lats maximally. You can even apply spinal flexion to this exercise to get a brutal lat destroyer. So those are the strategies I can mention. As always, leave me your thoughts in the comments below. Tell me what you think about the measure I'm going to take to provide you with the best content I can. And as always, and thanks for watching.